First off, for you, Coach, I know you've had a couple days to reflect on the quad meet, and having that time away from the meet always leads to some new insights. So, as you look back on what you did on Friday and Saturday against Wingate and Queens and Wilmington, what's your take on how you guys performed?
We were better than the previous 2 weeks before that, I think. We're starting to sharpen up our races a little bit, and we are improving in some areas we need to get better. But I think we've still got a long way to go. We're still, as coaches, trying to really get a good feel for where our athletes are physically to make sure that when we start our rest leading into SEC championships that we really have a good working knowledge of what they need to have specifically to be as fast as they can be over that 5-day period. So we're getting to that point now. We've got one more meet this weekend against William & Mary in East Carolina up in Greenville, North Carolina, and we're excited about going back up to Greenville. We got a lot to prove up there and to swim against two very good teams. So we've got one more chance to run through things here and make sure we get all the adjustments made that we need to make, and then we're really going to start to focus on speed and getting ready to race fast at SECs.
You had a number of different kids who touched the wall first for the first time at the quad meet, or at least some of them the first time this season. Regardless of times and how it fits into the overall progression of what they're doing, what can it do for a swimmer to finish first in their race?
That's good. I mean, that's the goal every time we hit the water, and I think some people prepared differently for this meet than others did. Some were at higher levels of training than others were, but what it does is when you have folks that are rested a little bit and you start to see some fast swims, not only is it encouraging for them, but it's also encouraging for the rest of the team that when they go through that same taper and that same rest, they're going to be fast and they're going to be sharp. And so it really there are folks that this was their last meet of the season this past weekend, and they kind of helped set that tone for the championship season, and they did a great job with that. I thought they swam well and kind of put us headed in the right direction. And as far as a team dynamic goes leading into SEC, so not only is it good for the individual, but it's good for the team too.
You had a number of kids, it seemed like, who were swimming events out of their norm at the quad meet. Some of them had great success. Seemed like Emma Barksdale won a couple of new events. I think Cody Beckmeyer won the 1650, which he hasn't swam a whole lot.
Yep.
Did you see anything new from swimmers as far as meets that they were competing in that you can take for the rest of the year?
A lot of folks, if they were in off events, it's probably more than likely because we wanted to just kind of give them a break mentally. Now, we had some people that we still wanted to see some specific races from, but for the folks like Emma Barksdale, Kevin Lighthold, some of those folks that we didn't necessarily, we know kind of where they are and how they're feeling right now. We didn't necessarily have to see them in certain events. So that meet was an opportunity for us to give them a chance to race something different. It is a little exciting for them because it's not the same exact events week after week after week. Tom Parabonia was another one. He got to mix up his events a little bit, actually swam the 200 breaststroke. So I think that's fun for them, and it kind of keeps it exciting. And it kind of keeps them focused a little bit. It gives them something new to focus on. But there are some folks that we have to keep in their events, their primary events, so we can fix maybe some small flaws that they have or things like that. But it's fun for them to be able to swim different things and get up and race in events that they're not used to. It's a nice mental break.
You've talked a lot about your seniors, obviously, over the last couple of weeks, with it being their final home meet over the weekend. I guess the thing that struck me the most was that it seems like they really have connected with their teammates. You could see that during the senior day ceremony, that those 7, regardless of what they do in the pool, really mean a lot to those underclassmen. You want to take a minute and just, again, brag on those 7 and the leadership that they provide?
Well, I think more so than what you even saw on the pool deck the other night, every year we have our senior banquet, and the seniors have an opportunity. We have 2 separate kind of segments where our freshmen come up who are just starting their swimming careers at South Carolina, and they talk about the seniors and how they've impacted them, and then the seniors come up and talk about their career and their experience here at South Carolina. And you really, a lot of times, take for granted the time while they're here, but to hear the stories that they tell and the bonds that they formed, and just remembering how much they've grown. For most of these folks the other night, on Saturday night while we sat at our banquet, they were talking about their previous 4 years at South Carolina, and I can still remember, the meal we ate on their recruiting trip. And so you think about how quickly it passes by. But this group has done a good job, and they are outstanding people. The young ladies that we have on this team are very sweet, very kind-hearted, very passionate about our program. The men that we have on our team are good leaders. They kind of like to set the example by their actions. They're not very vocal, but they like to get the work done and kind of lead that way. So I'm proud of what they've done, and that's the mark they're going to leave. But really, you know, you see the family atmosphere on deck. You see, you know, as Elise Weiser finishes up her last 200 breaststroke that she'll ever swim, you look up and there's 14 girls standing behind her lane as she finishes up. Half of them are in tears. You know that group's a special group and that they've meant a lot to their teammates. And so that's always fun as a coach to watch, and that's the environment you try to create. You want team members that care about each other. You want team members that want to see each other succeed, and you want them to build a bond that'll carry them through the rest of their lives. I mean, this is just not it's not a 4-year program. We're not done after 4 years. We encourage our athletes to come back, not only for alumni weekends, but anytime they're back in town for football games or basketball games or anything like that, to come by the office and sit down and talk with us. I love keeping up with what our athletes are doing, because not only are they successful athletes here, but they usually go on to be pretty successful people, and that's fun for me to watch too. So this is a special class, and they've done a great job for us, and I'm not sure they'll ever understand how much we appreciate the work that they've put in.
Along the lines of it being more than just a swim program, both programs were CSCAA Scholar All-America teams for the past semester. That was announced on Wednesday, and you know, as a coach, I know it does you well to have one less thing you have to worry about, that you know that your student athletes are going to take care of business.
Yeah, I mean that's really you know, a lot of times you have to fight the dumb jock stereotype, and that's not the case here in any sport. The athletes at the University of South Carolina care immensely about their academics, and you can look across the board and see the job that our academic staff has done with our student athletes. And the GPA, I can't even remember how many semesters in a row now that our athletic department has had over a 3.0 GPA. I was very proud of our women. They were over a 3.5 GPA. Our men were over 3.3. Both of them ranked among the top swim teams in the country this year. And that's something we're very proud of. I mean, we're not a sport like football. We don't have a lot of folks that are going to go sign $1 million contracts out of college. So a big part of our job here as coaches in our program is to make sure that our student athletes are prepared at graduation to go on and be successful in life. And Rochelle Robinson, who's our academic advisor, does an outstanding job with our student athletes. She stays on them constantly about making sure their priorities are straight and their days are organized and their schedules are set up correctly. The time that she puts in, she deserves a huge amount of credit for their academic success. But that's something we take a lot of pride in, and I really, I'm as happy, if not more happy about that than I am with anything that they do in the pool.
No question about it. Last regular season meet Saturday at East Carolina. William and Mary will be there too. Obviously, you want to get faster, and you know, you want to continue the prep for the postseason. But do you have any specific goals for specific student athletes that you want to see them accomplish Saturday as they jump in the pool for the last time?
I mean, maybe not really. I mean, specific student athletes. I mean, there's certain things that we'll deal with individuals on, but for the most part, we want to go up and we want to have a strong showing as a team. We want to get up and race top to bottom in every event and be strong, knowing that when we walk out of there that we're ready to go start this last phase of our championship season. So, you know, individually, yeah, there might be minor little things, but we're going to talk to the group as a whole. We'll meet on Friday night up there, and our goal is to go beat the Tribe and go beat the Pirates. You know, that's what we want to do. And, you know, the culture around here has greatly has really changed a lot over the past 10 years since I've been here, and that now the expectation is every time you go anywhere, whether it's home or whether it's away, you go to win. And so individually we want to be good, but we're going to go up there and sit down and talk as a team about what it's going to take to come out of there 2-0 this weekend and move forward into our championship season, putting up the best performances that we can. We got big goals for SECs and we got big goals for NCAAs. So this is just another piece in the puzzle this weekend.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.